Good morning. This is meteorologist Kaylee Dion here on WFAA. We are breaking into programming for a huge update in regards to Hurricane Ida, and we will get you back to your regular scheduled programming as soon as we give you these very important updates. Here is a live look from I-10 and Lake Charles as the storm is now starting to make landfall. It hasn't made official landfall yet, but it is starting to near Port Fortune, Louisiana. So that is just to the east of Lake Charles, south and east. So you can see the waves on that camera. You can see the camera shaking back and forth because of the winds that are sustained about, I would say, 30 miles per hour near Lake Charles right now. We'll get an update coming up in just a moment. Can we look at some of the other cameras? Where is this one at? Look, Biloxi, Mississippi, and this camera looks even more dramatic than it did the last time we looked at it, with the camera shaking, and there's an outer band that's going to be moving through Biloxi here any minute. That's got heavy amounts of rainfall and very strong winds with it. You can already see the storm surge pushing up toward the road there, and it's already going to be going over those roads. Let's go to another camera. Do we have another one, or is downtown New Orleans? You can see here the flag whipping in place because of the winds. It is still several miles away, the center of the storm, which you're going to see the strongest winds from New Orleans. That will be later on this evening. They feel the real impact from that, but we've already been dealing with heavy rainfall, potential for some extreme high wind just south of New Orleans. So we'll check in with our very own Jobin Paniker here in just a moment, who is in New Orleans, and he has an update from you. But I wanted to show you the radar. Here is Port Fortune. Here is the northern eye wall, and the storm went through an eye wall replacement here recently, which actually helped level it off, so it stopped intensifying upon making landfall. Now, official landfall is when the center of the eye intersects with land. So we're still not at official landfall, but it's beginning right now. But this is also water here, so there's still a lot more water than land. So there, yes, we're talking that this is official landfall, but it's going to have to wait a little while until it reaches a good portion of southern Louisiana. Port Fortune has quite a bit of oil for the United States oil industry, so damage is going to be extremely impactful there. This entire thin strip of land is going to be really impacted by the winds that are going to be the strongest within the eye wall. 150-mile-per-hour winds sustained, with gusts up to 185 miles per hour within that eye wall. Here's wide it out so you can kind of see. We're also looking at these bands here that are going toward Grand Isle that are going to bring in heavy amounts of rainfall and also very strong hurricane force winds. Even this band of rain out that's going to end up going far north toward New Orleans here as we move forward in the next several hours. The outer bands out of the screen will also have tornadoes that spin up, as well as heavy pockets of rainfall that will cause flooding. So storm surge, flooding, tornadoes, and high winds are all now moving forward going to be a major impact on the southern Louisiana coast. Here's a look here at the latest update from the National Hurricane Center as of 11 o'clock. Here it is. We can see winds 150 miles per hour, movement from the northwest at about 13 miles per hour. You can see that there. It's slowing up just slowly, and it's going to continue to slow up as it interacts with land as well. I want to show you some information here with Hurricane Ida as it starts to make landfall. Strongest hurricane by wind speed to hit Louisiana since the 1800s. Landfall wind speed, if you look at the three there, you can see Ida 150 miles per hour. Katrina was at 125 miles per hour, and Last Island back in 1856 was 150. So here is a look at the wind gusts right now. We have wind gusts up in really Biloxi, Mississippi at 25 miles per hour. Over farther to the west, anywhere from 10 to 15 to 20. Look at New Orleans. That's 47-mile-per-hour wind gusts. That's sustained wind gusts right now. And we have Jobin Paniker. He has been out there. He has been talking with people. He has been preparing. He is safe. I want to start, Jobin, by asking, okay, where are you right now, and set the scene for us.
Yeah, so we are on the 8th floor of a hotel here in downtown New Orleans. We are not very far from the convention center, and I'll move my laptop so you guys can see just outside the window. But we've been talking about these outer bands for for a while now, right? Coming through, and when is the eye coming? Everybody has a prediction of when this eye is coming toward New Orleans. But what we're seeing now is a little bit of rain and a lot of wind, and that wind has been somewhat sustained, right? And I'm with Josh Stevens here. I mean, we've covered hurricanes for quite a while now, and we know that it's way more important for us to be safe inside, reporting what we see out, as opposed to being out there. And that's why we are inside here. And I can't tell you how important that is for not just journalists, but for everyone else. It is important that you stay inside for this. We are talking about Category 4 winds, rain, you name it. Storm surge. You've heard all those trigger words. Those things are very important to know. I'm gonna show. So again, we are inside our hotel room on the 8th floor. I don't know if you can see out this window. There might be a little bit of a glare, and also we've got some fog. These windows are fogged up here. I don't know how much you can see of that, but this is just outside our window. The winds have actually come down, hasn't it? A little bit, Josh.
Just a little bit.
Yeah,
it's the outer bands getting ready to come in.
Yeah. So again, that could be the outer bands coming in. This is Josh Stevens. We are holed up in here, and we will be here until this system pushes through. We're all set up. We've got all of our media equipment, most all of Josh's media equipment in here set up to go, ready to do live shots from inside here. We've set up our, we've actually filled up our tub just in the event of in the case that we lose power, so we can flush our toilets. You can imagine anything that can happen, it could happen, especially in a storm like this. So, and we have had a chance to talk to some people too, and I know you want to talk through some of that, Kaylee. There is a quiet confidence in some of the people we've talked with who are saying, hey, it's not going to be like Katrina. It couldn't be that bad. I know we always like to do some of that comparative analysis. We have to focus on what is happening right now, right? And that's this emerging storm that's coming through, and it could be catastrophic is the word.
So, Jovan, I think it's interesting you brought that up, because we always say here as meteorologists, no two storms are the same. And I know there's a lot of comparison with Katrina because it's the 16th anniversary of Katrina. But this storm rapidly intensified. I mean, Jovan, last night at 11 o'clock, it was only a Category 2. It intensified to a strong Category 4 on the brink of Category 5. By this morning. So when they get into the Gulf of Mexico, you really can't compare because they're all going to be different. And this storm, in regards to wind, I don't know if you heard me right before I came to you. I said this is actually a stronger storm than Katrina in regards to wind speed. So winds with Katrina, as it made landfall, were 125 miles per hour. This one is 150. So you really can't compare. And also where they come on shore is also interesting. So I know the people are probably comparing, but one thing I wanted to ask you, Jovan, have you talked to anybody about those that decided not to evacuate, some of the reasons why? Because I know that some people just can't do it. They have to make a decision. And it's not that they're trying to be stubborn, it's just that they can't.
Yeah, I mean, the people we've talked with in the last hour to 2 hours are scrambling to get into the hotel. They know a family member, they know a friend who has a hotel room, and they're sort of packing into these hotel rooms, which, hey, listen, if you can get inside, that is way more important. We've talked with a couple who decided we're going to just hang out just in the calm of the storm, just on some benches right next to the convention center. They said, we're going to be here for just a little bit just to see what this calm is all about. They were stranded here. They tried to get a flight out yesterday, and the day before that could not get out. Their flights were canceled. And so they are going to wait out this storm like just about all of us.
Yeah, well, Jovan, I want you guys to be safe while you're out there, because there's also extreme wind warnings just to the south of you. So what the National Weather Service is saying, and it's a very ominous to listen to their wording, is you need to treat this, instead of treating it just as a hurricane, but as a tornado that's coming directly at you, because the wind speeds as the eye wall, which is where those higher winds are going to be, approach any location in southern Louisiana as we move forward through the rest of the day today, it's going to be like tornadoes, and you need to make sure that you are in an interior portion, away from windows. I'm so glad to see you guys are inside and not outside. So I mean, is there anything else going on right now? What I want to know an update about, is there heavy rainfall? I'm looking to see, looks like the heaviest rainfall, if I'm looking at radar right now to you, is just to the south. So the heaviest band is still to the south of you. So what's, real quick before we wrap this up with you, what's it look like?
What we're seeing is very little rain, still a lot of wind. And, you know, a lot of the gauge for most people when they see wind is they look at the flags, and the flags are just whipping back and forth. I mean, it is, and we're also hear this dull roar as those winds sort of pushes through buildings, and so we've been hearing that for the last what, 3-4 hours now. And so we expect obviously these winds to intensify and the rain to intensify. And the sad reality is we're still seeing cars out in the middle of the, driving through downtown New Orleans. We're hoping those people find shelter as soon as possible. And obviously we have people here at the hotel also scrambling to get inside, and they should.
Well, thank you, Jobin, for joining us, giving us an insight on what you have going on there. We are going to be checking in with you as we move forward throughout the afternoon. Again, please be safe. I don't like hearing that there are people out there walking either. That is not smart. I do want to go back over some of what's going on with the storm. The outer eye wall, which is the strongest, is now moving forward. So thank you, Jobin. Let's go ahead and pull up the radar, and I'm going to walk over there and make sure that we show you the latest update as Hurricane Ida is starting to make landfall near Port Fortune, which is just to the south and west of Grand Isle. You can see it right here where the outer eye wall is now over the top of Port Fortune. Official landfall is when it intersects with land, the center of the eye. But I want to focus here because even though landfall is going to be south and west of Grand Isle, the location near Grand Isle just to the south is going to be in the worst part, because if you're in the eye, you get a break, you get the center, it's calm for a little while. But on the outer eye wall, you don't get a break. It moves right over the same locations, and you have the strongest winds over and over and over again. But we are going to be updating you throughout the rest of the day today. Stay with WFAA on digital, on social media, and meteorologist Jesse Huila will be in later this afternoon to give you hourly updates, because yes, it's making landfall, but it has a long journey to go. It's going to be moving inland, causing flooding issues, 10 to 15 inches of rain possible as we move forward. Plus, on top of that, winds in excess of 150 miles per hour that go stretch all the way up. So major hurricane winds all the way up north of Baton Rouge. So of course, stay with us. This is meteorologist Kaylee Dion. We're going to get you back to your regular scheduled programming.